NFL record for the worst completion percentage.
This is a game you need to win.
This is a divisional matchup against a team you should beat. This is how you stack up wins.
Hello and welcome back to episode 30 of i75Live.
30?
Today, I know it's been,
Damn.
I know the numbers just keeps on growing. Today, we have a very, very special guest. We've kind of mentioned him in the past. He is our diehard Colts fan, Anthony Richards fan. I feel bad for him. But Mr. AJ Thomas, a little backstory before he introduces himself. We both grew up with AJ. He lived around here a long time, I think. I mean, we probably have pictures going all the way back to preschool, elementary school.
Probably at least like 15
somewhere
years.
buried deep. He played football at Gardner-Webb. He was I don't want to speak for him, but I know he was a 2-time conference champion. I think he was he was a all-conference player at some point. He played free safety, DB. He was kind of at least
Ball hawk.
He was a hybrid on the defensive side of the ball. So, but yes, Mr. AJ Thomas, if you'd like to add anything else,
take it away, my man.
They forgot to add a one-time fantasy champion.
The most important trophy.
Me and Dawson had plenty of awards on Ultimate Team back in the day.
We did.
I'm pretty sure I'm the leader, so you know.
We did. I remember. What was that? Madden 16, the one with Odell on it.
When it was great. I think it was Richard Sherman. I think 15. Yeah.
Yeah. 15, 16. I remember that. We were sniping cards on the auction house going back.
Talking about like daily, like we was on like Dawson, you on type.
Yeah. No, for sure. So today I know
this is really a big football episode. Not much else happened.
Yeah, and AJ, kind of describe to us kind of what you're doing now down in Miami. I know you're working with the Dolphins, you're working with
the stadium.
Yeah, what exactly are you kind of doing down there?
So with the Miami Dolphins, so I got a position with like the youth program. So basically I work camps and stuff with the kids, and I'm going around like all the high schools in Florida and basically recording and just getting content on them. And then with Inter Miami, it's messy. That's really, I'm out here, I'm a fan ambassador. So basically I guide people to their seats and stuff and basically tell them where to go and all this. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now in Florida.
How big has been the whole messy wave down there for that team?
I can imagine it's huge.
Bro, when I tell you, bro, I ain't hear one team chant, just messy. That's
literally just him.
And legit, he's him. He's one, I tell you, like, once he gets the ball, he's scoring, or he's passing it to somebody that's gonna score. Like, he's legit.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's crazy.
I mean, I could only imagine. I know that's all. Whenever I hear of U.S. soccer or the MLS, it's always messy.
Well, I know AJ also. I know part of what you want to end up doing is, I mean, me and you text back and forth about prospects and shit like that. So I think your interest is really becoming a scout eventually, right?
Oh no, definitely, bro. That definitely. I worked with that Alatuna. I definitely had time with the kids to just see, like, especially after football. You feel like you can give so much back. And so much, and a lot of people are unaware. Like, they could be so much better, and like I thought it was interesting.
I can see you being a coach eventually too, like 100%.
No, I hear what you're saying too, because I kind of did that at Marietta when last year, to where you feel like you have so much knowledge to kind of, hey, if I can help one kid maybe get better, or just learn the game a little bit deeper than just going out there and playing. Like, I totally feel you were coming from, where it's I wouldn't say you don't feel like a responsibility, but it almost is like, hey, like, I know what this game did for me.
What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't got.
Yeah.
Kind of like what AJ said, giving back.
No, I
giving
agree,
back to the game that gave you so much.
Speaking of, to kind of go into our first big topic, I know it just kind of happened this morning, but Hard Knocks, UNC agreed.
Yep.
For anyone who didn't know, NFL teams, no NFL team wanted to do the
off-season Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
The one from last year with
the Giants.
So they
asked Bill Belichick at UNC,
And we follow your training camp.
Yeah, and at first they were like, reports were, yes, we're going to do it.
Last week, yeah.
And then this morning they came out and said that they have backed out of it.
Apparently contract talks or something like that stalled, but I'm surprised it even got this far. There's no, like, when I heard that UNC, Belichick of all people, was going to allow a camera crew to come in and like interview, I was ready for it. I can't say I'm surprised, though, that it fell through.
No, I really can't. I agree. But it would have been, I think, me, just being a Patriots fan with Bill Belichick and everything that kind of...
Yeah, dude.
I totally was like, what is this guy going to be like with all the cameras rolling? And so it does kind of suck that they're not doing that anymore.
Well, it's like after last year... I mean, AJ, did you watch the off-season Hard Knocks, the one with the Giants last year?
Yeah, I see. It's hard to go on, like... They showed too much. Now I'm getting
way too much. Yeah.
Like it's a tough position to be in as a GM, especially when it's on an age. I had to get rid of Saquon just off the fact that he's not going to fit in where we're going to go at. Like,
aging running back who's coming off major injuries, but like the way they showed it and like in that light, it really made the GM look terrible. Not just the GM, but the owner too.
Well, and the funny part is, I'm sure stuff like that happens with every single team every single year.
Yeah.
I mean, you can point at so many different teams of players who were traded or players who were let go, and I'm sure those same conversations happen. It just wasn't recorded and put on national television,
put out for the public to see. And
now, did it work out perfectly in the favor of creating that meme because they went and won the Super Bowl? 100%. So that added to it.
That's like I don't know if y'all follow. Well, it's pretty big, but with Luka and Nico Harrison.
Yes.
From the and now Kyrie tore his ACL.
Yeah.
The Mavs, man.
Hurt. Yeah, that looks terrible. That's So hey.
GM. So like outside of obviously quarterback being a tough position, I would argue that GM is probably up there, probably like the hardest job to do in sports.
Well, nowadays because if you make a couple bad choices, then you're...
unless you're the Colts GM, who has AJ's, as you know, is just GM. A mile-long leash.
Bro. We're going to talk about them later, man. We just need leadership. Bro, at the end of the day, bro, the difference is it's grown men. You give money to men, and I can't tell you how you're gonna act if I give you millions of dollars.
This is true. That's a good way of looking at it.
Like you can't, you can do all the research and all you want with like the combine and you do the interviews and stuff, but bro, like you can prep for an interview.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, and then the people around you matters a lot. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I will always be an advocate for organization matters just as much as the players.
But that's actually a really good point to look at, and you go, I mean, it's a whole different ball game. That's why, the classic saying of when someone says, "Oh, trust me, you'd make a different decision if 10 million was sitting on that table right there."
Yep.
So that's a perfect example of you don't know how that money is going to make some of these guys influence you to do or to say certain things.
It's a great point.
So it's a great point. That's a great point.
Especially after look, and we talk about this all the time. After you give somebody the second contract, how are you gonna respond? A lot of people, hey, you give me 150 mil, and
I'm gonna start making some different decisions.
Yeah,
my back hurts a little bit more. I might have to go sit down for a second.
That pillow feels a little softer at night. It's harder to get up in the morning for that early workout. Yeah, man. Life starts hitting a little bit too sweet.
Yeah, no. Well, speaking of money, though, another guy that we talked about where it was kind of like...
Why would they do this?
Why would they do this? And why would you want to leave? Because you kind of have everything you want at this team, and that's Matthew Stafford. I think him staying there... I think what you said, too... is how it was like they gave him permission and it was, okay, go test to see how much you can get. They came back.
We'll know how much to pay
We'll know how much to pay you. Yeah. And that's probably, I know it doesn't all come out yet because they have to wait officially for the new year to start of what that deal's going to look like.
Yeah, I think they released a little bit about the structure. So it's more on a year-to-year basis. So kind of, I feel like most older quarterbacks structure their deals this way. So you revisit it every single year,
which is what it should be.
Yeah, with I think he's like 37.
Yeah.
So yeah, how Stafford feels, how the organization feels after the end of every single season will dictate whether or not they continue this marriage.
Yeah.
And I mean, he played when he was healthy last year. Very good.
Hey, let's not kid ourselves. They were, I think, a couple plays in a snow game in Philly from probably beating Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that game was looking, they had all the momentum, and then it just kind of died that last, couple plays. But I think this is smart for the Rams. I don't think you were going to find anything. Rodgers, no. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted that.
This was the best option available, I would say, agree. Out of the quarterbacks that had potential to move.
Yes, I agree.
What do you think, AJ?
One thing I like about the Rams is from top to bottom, they have a good structure. Especially
it helps having Sean McVay.
I don't think y'all have people, but they're trying to sell on a lot of their players right now and trying to get off a lot of people because I think they really believe in like their drafting ability, especially from last year. because the Rams, remember when they had salary cap hell with Todd Gurley, they had paid Robert Woods and they had paid Aaron Donald, and so they couldn't really afford a lot of people, so they had to go through the draft. And you see how now, hey, I'm hitting on these picks. I might as well get a couple more picks in this draft.
Yep. They just did it again this year, too, with Verse and then Fisk, the two teammates from FSU. Hits.
That's why they were like Matthew Stafford. I mean, hey, if you want, we're not going to give you the top dollar, but if you want to search, but clearly I'm not leaving that,
There's no way in hell that he should have.
No, I
the
think
Giants or the Raiders, realistically, where is it even close to as good of an option?
He 100% did the right thing when it comes
living in LA.
I got
GM
commercials with my wife. We doing bad commercials, man.
That's funny. So another one that is also kind of something that we've been making fun of all year is you. I remember when this happened, you sent it to me and you said, "You know what's hilarious about this?" I was like, "What?"
So to announce the next bit of news, I mean, everybody, this caught the league by storm.
Yeah.
I feel like the Commanders were going to make a move and will continue to make moves, but this one still surprised me with the Commanders trading for Deebo Samuel.
Well, and this is also the Jaden Daniels effect, like we said. To where guys are going to want to play for this team, this coach, and this quarterback.
They hear the name Washington attached to anything in a sentence, and they're like,
oh, and if you would have told Deebo a couple years ago that you'd be playing for Washington in a couple years,
hell no.
He would have looked at you and laughed and said, I'd rather probably retire. Yeah. So this is why, but the funniest part is you said, and you go, hey, guess who the Cowboys traded for Jonathan Mingo? They traded a 4th-round pick for Mingo, and the Commanders just got all-pro Deebo Samuel for a 5th round. So again, it's easy to make fun of the Cowboys because it's just hilarious, and we do that all the time.
If you're not a Cowboys fan, I feel like all other 31 teams enjoy it. Like, we relish this.
Oh, good, Jerry. I say it every week.
Never retire.
Keep on doing you, Jerry.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing you.
Can we just talk about how bad the NFC East,
outside of dead ass, it's the Commanders and the Eagles, and then
I'd put Washington up in there. I'd put Washington in there now.
AJ's a big. So now that you're on the show, we can talk about AJ and his belief. It's a very good belief and kind of skepticism around new quarterbacks. Is AJ is not sold on Jaden Daniels. We've had this talk plenty of times. The same way you weren't sold on CJ Stroud. You're kind of show me next year.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely a year-to-year guy because at the end of the day, bro, I'm scouting you.
Well, you're a defensive guy too, so you understand how important it is to have film on a player and study, learn tendencies.
Dude, that's the number one thing, especially with, of course, every year fantasy. Dak Prescott when the year with Dawson wants to win, that's gonna be your breakout year. So.
Yeah,
bro, it's how he responds and see what happens when everybody's keyed on to what he wants to do. But adding Deebo Samuels is definitely a big key. I
feel like it completes their offense.
Well, and Deebo kind of, it's not like they just got an outside guy or they just got a slot guy.
This guy can do everything.
I mean, this guy can, and you had
your Swiss Army knife
your running backs were hurt almost every single week last year.
This takes off some of their load.
So now this takes a little bit off of their load as well.
You still have Luke McCaffrey. Terry McLaurin's not going anywhere. Zach Ertz is still there playing. I mean, he had a resurgence year last year. He had like 10 touchdowns.
Now this really, I think, frees you up to really
go after Myles Garrett,
and go after defensive players.
I like Myles Garrett. I like Myles, but I don't think with the Browns. All right, so you want to talk about Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna really get off him, but because
I don't know.
That's an icky situation because he wants
really
to leave,
is.
but they're like, oh, we're not gonna leave because that determines on what I'm doing with that second pick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do I get Carter or do I go for a quarterback? You know,
I really think their move should be Abdul Carter.
Well, I don't think Myles Garrett is in a Browns uniform next year. I think he's going to be somewhere else. So,
but it would trigger it would be a domino effect because we've heard noise talking out like if Myles Garrett gets traded, it's just gonna like we heard that I think it was Greg Newsome or Denzel Ward, one of their top corners, is also going to consider like requesting a trade. I think Joel Bitonio, I think, is their offensive lineman who's damn near a Hall of Famer at this point, said he'd consider retirement if that happens, because that would, signify a rebuild.
Yeah.
And that's not something that these players are wanting to do. Like the Browns built that defense up for like 2 or 3 years to contend. And now where are
more
you?
than that.
It's
pretty, bro. When we signed Deshaun Watson, we were even good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
before,
Baker Mayfield,
absolutely.
the defense was kind of even miss.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, and I would also say too, I would say if I was the Browns and I'm looking at Myles Garrett, I think he's been nothing besides that whole helmet incident against the Steelers where I think he's been nothing but class, nothing but I'm going to work, I'm going to not open up my mouth, I'm not going to complain. Mm-hmm. So to me, now that he's finally coming out and being like, guys, like I want to win. Like I feel like it would be kind of like a big FU to just be like, no, screw you. You're going to be either on our team or we're not.
Though.
And I get that, but also there's also that just mutual respect that you see a lot of, like they kind of what Aaron Rodgers had with Green Bay and some of these other players that we see.
Think about the organization we're talking about here. And it's not every organization is created equal. While Green Bay may treat their veterans with respect, the Browns are probably worried about ticket sales, just like the Bears are for the most part.
Green Bay's also a corporation. Doesn't really have
that's true.
You know, when owners and feelings and money and that, I don't like that. Teams should be ran like how you said. Like if you put in all this time and we still haven't produced, especially in a situation where I have the second pick, like we're not going anywhere if I have the second pick. We definitely missed with Deshaun Watson. That's a big L on that team. So
you think that's probably the worst trade in NFL history? Trade/contract extension?
And then that messes up everybody else because now I'm never giving anybody a guaranteed contract.
It definitely creates that sense of doubt.
The worst of the worst thing could possibly happen.
When you made this trade, you had a scenario thought up in your head. You're like, oh, I really hope it doesn't fucking go this way. And it went exactly that way.
And it goes even worse.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
That's terrible.
It's ridiculous.
So to keep on going kind of down the list of some of the teams that this one was surprising because of the way he kind of reacted after the Super Bowl, but Darius Slay getting released, I think they just released him and they're going to re-sign him to help the cap because
while that could be true, they kind of have a youth movement going on on that defense.
They do.
Like think about they've been kind of phasing out all of those veterans.
Ringo.
Yeah, and so they have Ringo, and then they've got DeJean, they've got Mitchell. They're cutting Bradbury too.
That happened this morning.
So it's and Brandon Graham's retired. They have completed the youth movement cycle that was kind of, I guess, phasing out those last generation players that were on that past Super Bowl team. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I would think every starter on that Philly defense now, maybe outside of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, is under the age of 27 at this point. Yeah. Which is crazy.
I don't know though. I just feel like to me it was, hey, we're gonna cut you.
You still need some leaders.
We're gonna save some money
so it's possible.
Right now, and then we will sign you back. If you want to play one more year.
What if Washington goes and scoops him up?
But exactly. That's if I don't get a bag.
He's gonna have a market.
That's true too.
And it's like the Eagles have to worry about.
Do you think he values going for a back-to-back with the Eagles?
What if he thinks he can win a ring in Washington though? Because Washington. Think about. They've got, I like Sainristil, the guy from Michigan that they drafted, and then St. Just isn't terrible, but Lattimore,
They
and
still have
then
Marshawn. They
yeah,
got
they got
Lattimore.
Lattimore. So think about pairing Lattimore with Darius Slay and having that as like your
And then who knows who you get in the
backbone.
draft, because I know
Yeah,
it's very
that dude, the South Carolina safety is going to be a hit wherever anybody goes. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about, AJ. That Iman Wari,
Oh, yeah. Of course, bro. He
stud.
6'3", 220.
So I
Running a
saw
4.3.
comparisons calling him the DK Metcalf of defense. I'm like, you mean Cam Chancellor? And there's
Yeah.
already been, there was a guy before DK Metcalf in a Seahawks jersey that was built and played defense.
Yeah.
That's
So another one that I'm curious to get AJ's opinion on is, what do you think of this whole
T. Higgins,
Jamar Chase? Jamar Chase is going to get whatever he wants. He's going to get 40 plus million. That's a no-brainer.
T gets the
But
scraps.
this whole T. Higgins, do you think he plays under this tag, or do you think he looks at them and goes, I'm not doing this. I either want a long-term deal or I'm out of here.
Year in a row.
I'm glad you asked me this question, because I got a friend that went to his high school. Shout out Germ, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Bro, he wants his money, bro.
As he
wants his
should.
money.
Oh.
Like, and he just let go of his agent, and he got the same agent as Jamar and Joe Burrow. So like, hey, this contract will be done, and he's not gonna play, bro. There's no cause last year I played, when Jamar didn't play, I had my breakout games, and I got hurt, at the end, and teams use that against you, man. If you get hurt, hey, you got nicked up, and they take money away.
It's all soft tissue too, so it's all hamstring. It's all
exactly.
Yeah.
So my question, my next question is Jamar. If they look at Jamar and they go, "Hey, we can't pay you 40 plus million a year," does he lower his standards to stay with the Bengals, or if he hold on, no, let me finish my question, because we talk to a lot of Bengals fans.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm on the same boat of what you're probably going to say, and they look at me and they go, "No, that's stupid."
He'll be a team-friendly guy.
If Jamar doesn't get paid 40 plus million, he will find a team
that will.
And he will go to the team that will pay him 40 plus million. It doesn't matter how much you like playing with Joe Burrow. Yeah. So, but I do think, though, that they get that done, because they look at Jamar and they go, "Okay, this guy, we cannot let this guy walk out of the building."
There's no way.
Yeah.
I still think, though, that there's a chance that they let T. Higgins walk out, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so as a GM's perspective, all right. Right now, I don't want my team to look like the Cowboys. Well, I've
been saying this all year.
You're paying your quarterback, your number one receiver, and then probably your pass rusher coming up soon, like 60% of your cap.
But hey, the Cowboys just signed a D tackle.
That too.
So we're gonna talk about it later. But like I don't know how the Eagles do it. To be honest, I really don't know. But the Bengals don't have
black magic.
They don't have. No, they don't have a history of spending money. They've let it go of a lot of people, and so to sit here and say, "Oh, we're gonna pay T. Higgins, Trey Henderson, Jamar Chase, and they all led the league," no, it's not possible, because you have holes. Oh, you have holes in other positions.
So it just happened. Speaking of money, the Eagles Saquon Barkley just signed a 2-year, $41 million extension.
It's $20 million a year.
So what he just did for the running back market, compared to what it was at, kudos, round of applause for Saquon for doing that for everyone.
Well, just before this running back class comes in and completely changes the narrative for the position moving forward.
Well, it could hurt again, because you're going to be able to, I think, get a star for, fifth, fourth.
Yeah, that's true. But no, back to the
Bengals.
Back
to your point though. Yeah. I really do think it's you can't put yourself in that situation to be paying 3-4 guys 60% of your cap.
Maybe that's why they didn't a few years ago pay Jesse Bates and like players like that, because they were kind of looking forward to this situation.
But if I'm doing that, I have to hit in the draft.
That's true. You know absolutely. Yep.
When was the last hit? When was the last pick that they hit on?
Well,
I really like
Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
I really like. He was hurt a little bit last year.
I'm talking about third round, fourth round, fifth round.
That's the picks that matter. Yeah, like the Max Crosbys and the George Kittles and players like that.
I had to sign Trey Henderson. That's money.
That's true.
So,
that's true. He came from the Saints.
Well, and I mean, you can also look at why the Eagles were as good as they were. I mean,
drafting.
Half
they drafted half the Georgia
defense is still on their rookie deal.
Teammates, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you have to, and the same thing with the Rams. The Rams drafted very well. They didn't have to.
The Rams are going to be a force next year.
A ton of money towards some of these free, and that's what's scary.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the secret to having a good team is build inside out. You see all the teams that invest in the D line and the offensive line, those are the teams that are gonna be successful. You know, like you can't people that can move. You know,
Yeah.
So like,
well, and what to your point is what makes me very scared about the Patriots and how much money we have to spend, because I know
y'all got a great leadership.
You can't just buy wins though. To what you just said, you have to kind of do that internally and then build around it.
I heard y'all are going to send the bag at Milton Williams, a big defensive tackle.
And that's fine, that's whatever, and I'm sure it will help, but you can't buy some of this stuff. Did the Eagles buy that Super Bowl defense last year? No, they did not. They drafted well.
They bought Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown.
Y'all got pieces though.
We do, but I'm a little scared though that we have all this money, and yes, but you can't just, like, if you go buy a sports car, someone's got to teach you how to drive that sports car, or else you're going to ruin it.
But you got a vetted coach. Y'all got a great coach.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like it's just one of my little concerns that I have.
I was scared of Tennessee. Hey, that's a great coach, and he knows like the history and everything. That's a vet.
He's got a championship.
No, trust me.
pedigree.
I think we're in good hands.
The Patriot way is being instilled back in that building.
I get scared of
900 gassers.
No, he'd get fired for that in today's realm of how sports is run.
Free massages.
Hey, sleeper on the Patriots is Devon Baker, bro. He's legit.
Yeah.
I think, and it's funny, I remember telling Dylan for weeks when we drafted him, I was like, hey, I think we just stole this guy from this draft.
And then he didn't use him.
We never dressed him out. He didn't play.
But again, it's especially the NFL, it's the mental aspect, bro. It's not a kid's game no more, bro. These grown men, like, I have to feed my family, and every play is like, like, there's no stop. So he probably just had the rookie adjustment, You gotta watch. Hey, I'm picking him up in fantasy, bro.
I wouldn't take his advice on fantasy
I got
stuff
my
just
eyes.
based off.
Yeah.
What are you talking? All right, bro.
Yeah, hey, we could play your little clip about Anthony Richardson from the beginning of the year again if we want.
We still have that in the vault.
But before we get into Anthony Richardson, before we do that, just to kind of wrap up
I gotta get some stuff out.
Some of these free agents that we have. I know the Jets just released Davante Adams.
Yeah.
This was going to happen. I don't know where he's going to go. Some team will pick him up, though. He's probably going to want to play for an established team. Like,
you think he goes back to the Packers?
I could see the Packers.
Chargers.
I could see the Chargers.
Ooh.
I could see
the Chargers would be nasty, dude.
I could see the Rams too.
Davante Adams and
especially with them losing Cup, I could see him and Puka
and Davante. Oh, yeah. There's so many good options, man.
So there are some good options.
Steelers, Dolphins, Chris of the Dolphins.
I wouldn't. I mean. No, they're already spending way too much money at the receiver position.
Would Waddle give up number 17 if Devontae came?
Yeah,
Chris?
that's true. No. Waddle would have to get.
Bro, I really think he could go to the Giants. I think he might.
If the Giants take a quarterback,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think they're desperate. I think you're desperate at this point.
You think Davante and Aaron Rodgers go to the Giants? Dude, it's possible.
That'd be funny as shit.
I think the winner of that is Malik Neighbors, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, no, because we see how Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams.
That's true.
Aaron Rodgers is going to choose Davante Adams over anybody.
Yeah. It's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's done it everywhere they went together.
Yeah.
Which is,
So,
everywhere.
Now, So let's talk about the Colts a little bit. Mr. AJ Thomas, he was a huge advocate for Anthony Richardson. He passed the eye test, kind of like what we were talking about with the draft. No. He passed the eye test. He was fast. He ran a good 40. He had a good vert. He had all these things. He could launch the ball.
Youngest dude in the league. We just talked about this. He's younger than Shedeur. Shedeur getting drafted, bro. Third year. But go ahead, guys.
So my question to you is, a guy who's been nothing but hurt, and his niche, his one like superstar X factor has been running the ball.
Drake May wasn't hurt. He didn't just get thrown in the bleachers and get a concussion.
I love how he always defaults to going back to my team. No, we're not talking about the Patriots right now. Your Anthony Richardson's superstar X factor is supposed to be running the ball the way Josh Allen does, the way Lamar does, and with him being hurt as much as he does, then like where do you stand with that? Like you as a fan, you as some like where do you go?
All right, bro. To be honest.
Oh wait, guys, time out. I'm tired. Hold on.
Oh, third down for a second. Yeah. Third and goal.
Y'all got it without me, right?
What happened? Oh, it just started raining, bro.
Oh no, he's getting rained out.
My background.
Well, what just happened, AJ, is that I quit on the team, similar to what Anthony Richardson did back in week 6 or 7.
Bro, what is this man talking about?
He got tired.
The dude can't throw. I'm being completely honest. He can't throw in between the hashes. He's young though, so at the end of the day, there is room to improvement. But I don't believe. I wanted C.J. Stroud, to be honest. I wanted C.J. Stroud. I didn't want Anthony Richardson because at the end of the day, bro, it's third and long. I need you to complete a pass. You can't run 10 yards for third. No, so I don't know. We also don't have leadership in the locker room. It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So what's your take? Because I mean, for those that weren't kind of really into the Colts this past season, there was a lot going on with McAfee and current Colts players taking shots at McAfee, and it's what the hell was going on?
McAfee was kind of saying the truth,
and he was just calling him out.
Yeah,
he was calling out players for acting unprofessional or not being leaders, like what you're saying right now, AJ. But it's again, that kind of speaks to their locker room issues, that they took offense to that rather than took note of it. And I don't know, what do you think?
Because it's true. At the end of the day, if you don't get hit about something, but I feel how they're saying, because you said it on national television and you're calling this out, but at the end of the day, this is a production business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you got people not showing up, and then you got Anthony Richardson, the franchise quarterback, saying, hey, I feel like we didn't have any leaders, that's points of sign. The youngest dude in the NFL, I didn't know how to be a leader and stuff. So it's certain things that it's especially, a lot of people don't know this, but we brought everybody back from last year. Literally everybody on that team was there the year before that, and so when you
it was the same group, really.
Well, and I would say too, your guys' defense is
they've got guys on that defense.
I feel like you had a pretty solid secondary,
solid O-line for the most part. Jonathan Taylor's
your O-line. You've got some. I know you had your one guard was hurt for a good bit, but you still. So you have a good running back. I think you have pretty good receivers as well compared to some other teams.
We don't have any game changers though, besides JT on an offense wise. It's on your quarterback. You take the identity of your quarterback.
Yeah.
And so we need another vet. We just need another vet in that position to help Anthony Richardson become what he needs to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he needs that competition, because at the beginning of the year he was I'm not gonna get my spot replaced. I could take plays off, but he didn't feel the pressure. You know what I mean?
Well, he did take plays off as well.
So I guess my question to you is, to wrap it up, how much longer are you giving this guy?
One more year?
Yeah,
just in time for Archie Manning?
No, this is the NFL, bro. You got your rookie contract. If you don't this is his third year.
Yeah.
If you produce this year, you have your fourth year, and then we might exercise it, we might not. Kyle Pitts is in that situation right now.
That's true.
We're not going to exercise in your fifth year.
So here, let me draw up a scenario for you.
That's a good example.
The Colts are the worst team in the league next year, winning 1 or 2 games maybe. Archie Manning comes out.
Oh, I don't know how you don't
Like,
pick him.
what's the move there? Are you bringing in,
What are
Manning
you talking
Jr.?
about? Bro,
Yeah.
we gotta put people in the seats, man.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, nephew,
That'd be a
yeah.
hell of a. That'd be
Archie Manning jersey.
That
We
would be
wanted
a
Archie
hell of a
Manning,
storyline.
bro.
No. No, that I mean, like,
We're not-
cause I I remember how mad you got at me for the whole, thinking that Anthony Richardson would be a bust in fantasy, which I would like to say that I was still
Not
right
though.
on that.
He's not though. He's not though. If you look at his game,
Oh, here we go. If you look at his games, if you look at this,
20, it's like 23. Bro, I mean, bro, at the end of the day, bro, he just has to learn to throw the ball.
That's a wild thing to say about an NFL quarterback.
Oh,
He
that's
just
funny.
needs to learn how to throw the ball.
Hey, sometimes you can just make it off of speed, bro.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's too funny.
Well, now here. So
That's
moving
too
on
funny.
to our next little thing in the offseason. So AJ just added this before we got on to our show notes that the Cowboys just signed their star defensive tackle Osa Odigizua to a 4-year,
You nailed that name. I
$80
would have
million.
butchered that.
That's why it's okay. I took over that one. $80 million deals. And AJ, you have added, I think the Cowboys, before paying Micah Parsons, they have roughly 44% of their salary caps going towards 3 players right now before they pay Micah Parsons. So I could only imagine how much that number is going to balloon the second they give Micah like $45 million a year for like 4 or 5 years. Like that.
Again, it's a bad recipe for a team, you know? Like,
It is.
I got to hit on my pick. I have to hit on every single pick.
And realistically,
and not
that's
make
never
dumb
going,
trades for high picks that you could have used to hit in the draft, like
Yes.
sending a 4th round pick for Trey Lance, sending another 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo. Trey Lance is not coming back; he's a free agent this year, so that's a waste. And Jonathan Mingo is on the last year of his rookie deal, probably not getting re-signed.
I forgot about the Trey Lance and
Exactly, dude. It's
wow.
bad trades. Jerry Jones.
This is why we make fun of them, because this is all they do. It's too easy.
It's too easy to make fun of the Cowboys for shit like this.
No, yeah, and
the crazy part, like not even like 4 years ago, they were like NFC
good.
Like
one of the NFC's top teams.
Well, they beat Tampa, Tom Brady's Tampa in a playoff game,
yes,
where it was like, hey, you scored a ton of points, you looked really good.
And then they got waxed by Green Bay.
Yeah, and then after that, it was just
classic Dallas.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So to now go on to we wanted to talk a little bit about the cap space for all these teams. So I guess my question to Dylan and AJ is, who do you see being that team this year that is kind of like Washington, kind of like, one of these teams to where, or the Vikings maybe? Who do you now? I know it's kind of hard because free agency hasn't happened, the draft hasn't happened, so we really don't know how these teams are going to look. But if you just kind of had to guess based on how some of these teams are right now, they're a couple pieces away in your eyes, who do you think can be that Minnesota Vikings, that Washington?
My honest pick, and the more I think about it, the more they line up perfectly based on situation. Because it's funny you say Washington. I'm thinking of one team that realistically is in, quite honestly, the exact same situation that Washington was a year ago, and that's the Raiders. And I think the Raiders are going to get a quarterback in the draft. They're going to get a young guy. They've got the old, players, coach, head coach, strong defensive mind who's going to get the defense right. Tom Brady they've got new ownership, technically, kind of, because Tom Brady is now taking charge of that whole thing. He's damn near the GM at this point. I know he's not.
Which that's a whole nother conversation for him still being allowed to do what he's doing at Fox.
Yes, they've got staple pieces already, like Bowers. They've got Jacoby Myers. They got Max Crosby. They've got guys, and they've got over almost $100 million in cap. So realistically, I think the Raiders are that team. I'm trying to stay biased stay away from being biased. I do think the Bears will take a leap, but the biggest leap, I think, is the Raiders. I really do.
Yeah, that's a good one. AJ, who you got? If you just had to kind of, based off the salary cap, based off.
I like the Rays, but then they got to figure out their quarterback position. Do I go Sam Darnold? Do I go Cam Ward? Like that's gonna be the major point. Genty, I could go Genty, trade
Yep.
down. But I'm trying to think.
It's tough. There
No,
are
I
a
know,
lot
and I know
of
it's
different
kind.
teams
I know
that
it's hard,
could.
and it's free agency hasn't happened, the draft hasn't happened. It will be a lot easier to maybe do. I know. I just thought it would be kind of fun to kind of maybe predict of where a team is going to want to spend their money if they have a ton of cap to build.
The Panthers could be, somewhat of a sneaky option
In
now
a
that Bryce
division
Young's
that's
playing
not
good.
the best either.
Bad division. Yeah.
I mean, you really only have
Ooh,
Tampa.
I like Bryce Young. I ain't gonna cap it. He showed me something.
I do too.
Well, a couple episodes ago, it was you. You brought it up of his back half after he came back after being benched.
He was a top 3 quarterback
Statistically,
in
in some like categories, he was the best out of anyone in the National Football League.
That's not a joke.
Yeah, I mean, so
we got to see him,
you did. No, I wasn't there.
We went to the Week 17 game or Week 18 game against the Falcons when he had 5 touchdowns. And he looked incredible. Like he looked like the first overall pick, and it's exactly why the Panthers took him. And yeah, so I think the Panthers are another team that I do think they don't have nearly as much cap space, so they'll have to hit more on their draft picks than the Raiders will. But the Panthers are in pretty solid position. I would say there's a ton of teams that can turn it around this year. And it's like that.
And that's the cool thing about the NFL as well, to where you really never know, because there's always going to be those couple teams like there were last year with the Vikings.
The Cardinals. The Cardinals have like $80 million in cap, so like they're another team that could. It depends all on how much you really trust Kyler Murray, I would say, but the Jaguars, like there's a lot of good options. I think the Giants, if they can get some kind of quarterback in there that's good. Just a good quarterback, doesn't matter who. They're not that far away. I like their defensive line. I think their secondary still needs work, but they've got a good foundation on the D line. They've got 4 good guys on there.
Yeah.
But anyone that rings a bell to you, AJ?
What did you guys say?
I said anything that rings a bell to you, team wise? Like who's got the most to gain in free agency? You could talk about the Colts if you want.
Bro, I don't like the Colts right now. We got leadership problems.
Y'all have like $35 million in cap, so got a little bit.
We got the cap, but you got to, at the end of the day, bro, it's about the draft. Like, like I got to hit on those picks.
Well, y'all need a tight end. Do you think? So, let's transition because our next kind of subject is really like talking about the combine and the draft in general, and so. Staying on the Colts, since we were on the subject, tight end is probably y'all's biggest need. I think you need a corner, probably safety as well. I think, right? Yeah, I mean tight end is loaded.
Oh yeah. No, we definitely do, bro. Who I really like from the draft is Max Harrington. I know he got the whole fast.
The Kentucky DB.
Yes.
But I Maxwell Harrison.
Like open his film. He's real twitchy, bro.
Yeah.
Real twitchy. I also like Zach Frazier. Who else do I like?
There's a lot. We were talking about it earlier this week that it's coming to kind of a stop, but this year, next year, and maybe the year after, this is like all of COVID. This is all of the graduating classes that were affected, given extra years of eligibility from COVID. And so we're starting to see like there are players taking the 5th and 6th round that are going to be starters like week 1. And it's been happening for a while now.
Well,
and you got guys like Puka.
You have to have those players, like how you mentioned.
Like we've been talking about,
you need to hit on those guys. I really don't think the average fan or average football goer understands how important the draft is.
It is the most important, outside of hiring a head coach and a GM.
And I'll bring it up again. Look at the Eagles. I mean, half of that defense is on a rookie deal right now.
Look at their O-line and how many guys they like that are homegrown, like from them, like Mailata.
That Deebo went for a 5th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. There's like, bro, you can get a controlled player on a controlled contract.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like for 4 to 5 years. So.
Mm-hmm. And team friendly deal. You get that option for a 5th year.
Yeah. I mean, and I could even go back to, I mean, you could probably go back and look at the past 5-10 Super Bowl winners, and I guarantee you,
Look at their draft
look
history.
at their draft history, look at those guys who were playing
Well,
for
look
them.
at the Niners didn't win, but the Niners were there. What, they went to like 2 and were
Niners are really good drafters.
amazing
They're really good
drafters. Oh yeah, and that's
Really
the
good
point I'm
drafters.
making is like those teams are consistently at the top. I would say the Ravens are very good drafters as well. The Bills have been good drafters. The Chiefs,
The Rams.
the Rams are very good drafters.
The Chiefs are good
Who has the
drafters.
most picks?
I would say
Who
the
has most
Chiefs,
picks
yeah.
this year?
Who has the most picks this year?
Yeah, because honestly, that's the team with like that has the brightest future. Like, who has the most picks?
I'm not sure who has the most picks. Dylan's looking it up right now. But no, I really truly like to an average person. I don't think they just think, oh, it's the draft, drafting college kids, whatever. Half of them don't even make the team. But the ones who do make an impact, I think it is just a huge, huge, huge step in the right direction towards building your window for winning championships. And we saw that with kind of the Eagles this year.
So the Browns
Hey,
have the
they're
most
getting
picks. The Browns have
They're getting
12
the
picks.
Browns have 12 picks.
Browns have 12. The Niners
And they can get even more if they trade Garrett.
The
too.
Niners also have 12.
Yeah, you get a first round. You get a first rounder.
The Niners have 12?
The Niners have 12.
Oh, wow.
The Niners, but so they have 3 picks in the top 75, and then they kind of dip off a little bit. They got 99, 112, and then it's a bunch of 4th and 5th, 6th,
I like
7th rounders.
Hey, bro, Niners know how to retool and regroup.
Oh yeah, well they got Saleh back too as their DC, and they're arguably their best year on defense was the year when they went to the Super Bowl, and Saleh was the defensive coordinator in like what 2020.
Yeah, honestly, I like them. Yeah, I like the Niners as like the biggest win, like for like the foreseeable future, because I get off of Deebo, so I save money.
Well, they're gonna have to pay Brock.
I heard.
When do you think that Brock Purdy
I heard they're trying to
coming?
get off Ayuk too.
If they trade Ayuk, that would make it very possible to sign Brock Purdy to a long-year deal. You already drafted Pearsall. Jawan Jennings showed that he can be a very good receiver, if not a number 1. He was for a couple of weeks there.
You have a ton of draft picks for a very deep wide receiver class as well.
Oh.
So,
dude, let's talk about that for a little bit. Does Brandon Ayuk get moved? Like, is he going to be the A.J. Brown that gets moved on draft night?
I mean, well, he's hurt, so you're gonna.
That is true. What did he tore his ACL, right?
ACL, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, so like,
God, that makes it even harder.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to move him because like I gotta wait for you, to play. So like,
yeah, Niners are. And they're losing. They've got a lot of free agents. Like Dre Greenlaw is going to be gone.
I heard Robert Saleh is making a strong argument to keep him though. Because when Robert Saleh
Hufanga's a free agent too.
Yeah.
Their standout safety Charvarius Ward is also a free agent.
Yeah,
there's some guys like veteran leaders on that defense that.
But some of those guys are probably gonna. Hey, I want to go play for Washington. Hey, I want to go play for the Eagles. Hey, I want to go play for the Chiefs.
Hey, I want to go play for Chicago. I mean,
this Washington looks crazy.
It's hard not to. It really is. I mean, I think when you have the type of coach you have.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather sign with the Lions or the Commanders?
Oh, the Commanders. Honestly, because I really do. Those are 2 great organizations, good coaches, young roster, and I think it comes down to the quarterback. And I like the upside of Jaden Daniels.
I would say
more than Goff.
You can't just say quarterback because we got Gibbs and I got David Montgomery.
See, that's why it's so hard. It's difficult.
I would probably.
I don't know. The Lions have that O-line.
I think I'd go with the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's hard.
But if those were the 2 teams that I was picking between, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Flip a coin. Literally flip a coin.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm either going to the Jaguars or the Lions.
Oof.
So
I think
Jaguars. Let's talk about Duval. Let's talk about them. Hey, y'all like Liam Cohen? Like, is he?
I think he's a great offensive guy. Like, I don't think there's any reason to hate his offensive play calling or his scheme, but he seems like not somebody that I would necessarily look at or listen to and think that's a leader in a footbat locker room.
Well, he's also kind of shown zero loyalty across the years. It's just. Like he was at Kentucky and he said he was gonna come back, and then he left, and then he like made it this big deal that he was gonna stay, and then all of a sudden the whole thing with the Bucks comes out to where he had this deal, and
Yep.
but the Jaguars stopped calling, and then they finally called, and he was like, "Oh, actually, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm gonna go to Jacksonville, not say anything to anyone."
Yeah,
And then, oh, hey, by the way, I'm taking the head coaching job. Sorry.
it was a whole mess.
Good luck finding a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it was a whole mess, dude. But
I don't know though. I do think he's a good coach.
Oh yeah.
You saw what he did with Baker, and you saw what he did. So, I mean, I don't think
that's the second year Tampa's OC got a head coach job.
That's true. That's true. Well, Canales, the Panthers head coach, was the Buccaneers offensive coordinator.
And you can maybe thank Baker for that, because I think
maybe,
Baker has...
maybe we're looking at the wrong part of this puzzle.
Maybe.
And thinking, I mean, Baker, outside of, he had Sean McVay.
Baker's had 2 very good years back to back. We've given him his flowers. So maybe it is a little bit.
So speaking of, because we're talking about like more little free agents and stuff, Chris Godwin is probably not back.
Oh,
with
I'd
the
love
Bucks.
for him to go to the Patriots.
They decided not to franchise tag him. So yeah, Patriots.
You asked me this last night, and I was kind of on the fence. And then the more I think about it, the more I think
he's coming off an ACL too, right? I think he's also
no. It was a couple years ago because I was at the game where he tore his ACL.
He got hurt again this year. Remember, he got hurt in like week 7 or 8, and he was out for the year. And I do think that was an ACL. I'm gonna look it up right now.
I can't remember. It may have been like an ankle or something. But no, the more I think about it, the more I go, hey, out of the receivers on the market right now that we can go sign, I would say probably AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, Davante Adams, Chris Godwin. Out of like the big names, I think Chris Godwin to me makes the most sense. I don't want Davante Adams, Diva. I don't think our head coach is going to deal with that.
What about Keenan Allen?
Oh, Keenan Allen.
I think Keenan Allen's too old. We don't need that.
I would say,
Stephon
Godwin.
Diggs?
So it's
I think Stephon Diggs maybe.
But ACL.
I can, but ACL.
He's like 30 now.
But you could say that about Godwin. You can say that about Cooper Kupp because all these guys have
Godwin's
kind of been hurt.
coming off a ankle dislocation.
Okay.
So not nearly as serious as I thought, but that's still, he had surgery and had to get that surgically repaired. But that's not nearly the same as coming back from ACL.
I just think when I look at a slot guy where we can use someone to go over the middle of the field like that, I look at either Cooper Kupp or Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick between those two, I would probably go with Chris Godwin. I think he's a little bit younger. I think he's probably got more left in the tank than it does to Cooper. That's what I would do if I was making the decisions. Now, of course, I'm not. I don't know how much he's going to demand money-wise to where I couldn't imagine he's going to get. He's probably asking for a lot, but I couldn't imagine he's going to get.
He'll probably get like a 2 to 3 year deal, I think.
Like $30 million? I feel like $30 million a year is way too much.
No, not 30. I mean, that's T. Higgins money.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin was getting that back when he was,
Like I feel like 21, 22, 23, somewhere in that is what I would be like, yeah, that's cool. Like that's a good piece.
I could see him signing for like a 2-year, $50 million deal. 25,
about
25 annually.
Yeah.
Or a 3-year, $75 million.
What about Cooper? Do you think Cooper's going to ask? Or
I don't even know.
There's a lot of reports coming out saying that Cooper's going to end up back on the Rams because
I think he should be. I don't understand.
Yeah.
They're not, bro. The Rams they have a set amount of money that they want to spend right now.
Yeah, that's true.
We got Puka. You see how Puka he performed
and he's still got 3 years on his deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he got drafted in like the 5th round, so he has a 5th year option
if they don't pay him early.
If they don't pay him my rookies, I get 4 free years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of you asking for 50, 70 million, taking up 20% of my cap, bro. Like,
so do you think, because I know you're a players guy, do you think that's fair to look at someone, say Puka comes out and balls out again. Do you think that's fair to look at him and go, yeah, you know what? You deserve that, but because you're a rookie, because we need you to play that extra year on your rookie deal, and then say something happens, and then it's like, oh well, you hurt yourself, screw you, then, like, is that fair? For an organization to ask that of these high caliber rookie players?
Not at all, but you got to think of what
business.
sport we're in.
It's a business.
Like this is the car crash sport. Like this, like the insurance on this sport is like 1 year. Yep. So as a business owner, I'm invested in hundreds of millions of dollars on these players, and again, like it goes on personality. I'm giving you all this money. I don't know how you're gonna act. I don't know how you're gonna respond.
Yeah.
Like, so I have to ensure myself to a point where, like, okay, I can protect myself so I can get off of this player and then get off
Yeah.
of, like, Deshaun Watson. Like, I like it sucks because, bro, like, it's the only guaranteed fully contract ever, and it
Yeah, look
like
how
that's
that
the only
worked
one.
out.
So now I'm not gonna do that. I have to go to
Yeah.
every year basis.
Yeah.
Just like scholarships, this. Your
Oh yeah.
scholarship renews every semester. It's not even 4 guaranteed years.
Well, yeah. I mean, if
So
you make one mistake, if you make anything, then you're done.
Take
I mean,
it.
you're out.
Take it right from you.
exactly,
Yeah.
we can name countless of players that had made stupid decisions that messed it up for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From so
That's a good
hey,
example.
bro,
That was
it's
a
a
good
business.
answer to that question.
Oh
It
yeah.
was. It was.
Absolutely. But I just think you've got a list just talking about some of their highest valued free agents. And so I didn't realize Najee Harris was a free agent.
Okay, this
Not
is a
gonna
lot.
lie. I did not realize.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean obviously probably just talk about the big names,
Would you
but
resign? Would you resign Dicey? No,
I wouldn't.
he's not like he doesn't do enough for me. I can find his
Exactly.
production anywhere else, really. Like I'm pretty sure
I can
all
Caleb
32
Johnson.
teams have someone
I
that
could
can.
replace you.
Yeah, that's like he is not, I would say, worth that. Whatever he's probably asking. I would say, where do you think he goes though? Like, I mean,
Chargers.
Chargers?
I got my team. My most excited team is the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers are legit.
I love
like,
Jim Harbaugh.
Bro, all you need is one more game changer besides Lad McConkey. I can get it.
Yeah.
Like,
They
I
need
can
a
do a
tight
lot of
end.
things.
They need a really
That's-
like a stud tight end. And I keep pushing for them to trade for like a Kyle Pitts.
What if they draft the kid out of Penn State this year?
Oh, if the Chargers get Tyler Warren.
Oh, we need the Colts. Please, no.
I mean,
But
y'all
this tight
pick
end-
before the Chargers, so
I like this tight end class. Colston Loveland from Michigan.
the
I
Michigan
like
guy,
him.
yeah.
Harold Fan, I like him.
Oh yeah.
The tight end from Miami, I forgot.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Elijah
Uh-huh.
Arroyo.
He's nice too. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of slot tight ends in this draft. That's
A lot of
really
route
good.
runners. I think Tyler Warren is probably the only I look at.
Tyler
and
Warren
he's like
is
a complete tight
like a George Kittle, a
Does
Gronk,
everything,
does
yeah.
everything.
Oh
Everything.
yeah, he's my type of guy. I heard he wears 44 because of
Dallas Clark.
Oh yeah.
That's even. Oh, he was
That's
destined
even
to be
better.
a Colt.
I'm capped.
Hey man, I mean it made sense. I believed it.
That's funny.
So Sam Darnold,
Hey,
another
bro.
one.
Yeah, to wrap up kind of a little, we'll talk a little bit about some of the big names, and that will kind of be it.
Close it off.
Sam Darnold, though, they did not franchise tag him.
Yeah,
I think that could be another situation too, where it's like, okay, go test the water, and we know you had an amazing year.
Other teams are gonna
go
give
see
you.
how much money that these teams are going to throw.
Well,
Come
AJ
back to us.
AJ thinks he's getting $40 million.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about this the other day.
Bro. This is what I said. I think he gets if I resign back to the Vikings, I get 3 years. If I want some more money, I'm gonna get 4 years somewhere else, like Raiders. Who else? I don't think he's going to the Browns.
Giants.
The Giants.
But if I was, the Giants. But if I was Sam Darnold personally, I'm gonna go back to the Vikings just to know that my situation is safe. Like
a good O-line, good receivers,
great coach.
Great coach.
Because last time I went to an iffy situation because Jets, Panthers.
Yeah, that's true. He made a stop. He made a stop on the Niners last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, he performed.
Yeah, he was decent.
I just want to be in a quarterback friendly situation so I can have success because JJ's not gonna play next year.
Yeah,
because he might if the quarterback that they choose is like is on a roll and stuff and he falls off. But if he's coming off an ACL injury, I'm gonna give him time. I don't have to rush you, especially what happened last year.
Yeah.
Like Who had the Vikings? What was it? 15-2.
Hey,
Yeah, they
none of us
14,
did. Yeah.
14-3.
I mean,
I
that happens
believe.
when you play the AFC South, but still 15-2.
They did.
Yeah.
So we
That's pretty good, right?
that's really funny that you bring that up. So the NFC North kind of got exposed this last year for being NFC or AFC South merchants. I think besides the Bears, I don't think the Lions, Packers, or Vikings lost to any of the
No, they
AFC
didn't.
South teams.
We
yet.
looked
They
it up.
went 4-0 against
Me and
them.
Chris went through all the games, and it was I think one game out of that whole division lost.
And then they all lost
Yeah.
round one or game one in the playoffs. They
Yeah.
all.
But do I need to bring up the
crumbled.
receipt? Remember when Dylan week 4? Hey, the NFC North is the best division in the NFL. Like,
Oh, don't worry. We got
bro.
a whole video coming out later talking about my delusion as a Bears fan. It's bad. It's way
Hey, but
worse
how
than
you
you
feel-
think,
how-
I promise.
So how you feel about Ben Johnson and Caleb? What do y'all like? What do you want out of this draft?
The Bears are back, baby. That's all I got to say. But perfect case scenario, I said this a few weeks ago, is address the O-line in free agency. We didn't talk about it before we came in.
Yeah,
They made a
Jonah
trade
Jackson.
for Jonah Jackson, who was hurt last year, but he was an all-pro on the Lions. And I'm pretty sure was on a Ben Johnson team. So this makes a lot of sense. He still has a year left with $17 million attached to it, but none of that is guaranteed, which I keep seeing people on social media, go to that part and be like, oh, what the hell? It's not guaranteed. Okay. So, let's just chill out right there. He plays left guard, which there were not very many left guard free agents available. So I think turn our attention to signing the Falcons center, Drew Dahlman, is probably number one for me. I think we need a center, have needed one. And then I would say go and get AJ, I'm sorry, but Will Freeze, Colts guard, who's young and
we got like 10 of them, bro.
y'all, the Colts
Wait.
probably one of the best teams at drafting O linemen and like having an O line.
Every year, bro.
And ironically, it just took Andrew Luck retiring for that to make to be possible.
It's not to bring that up either, bro.
But no, if we address the O line in the way I think we will, bring back Khalil Mack on a 3-year deal. Reports are coming out that he wants to be on a championship team, not as the focal point or the leader, but as a complementary piece. And that honestly sounds like a bring him back home is due.
That sounds like
the Chiefs. Oh.
That sounds like
yeah, man. I mean,
please. That's what it sounds like.
The fan in me and the popcorn eating, action desiring fan wants Ashton Janty at number 10. If we can get the O-line fixed, oh man, I really want it.
I hear a lot of teams like.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams liking him.
I don't even think he makes it to us.
I think he goes. He probably goes.
He does.
I don't think he makes it past 15. That'd be my guess.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. What was that 15? Who's that 15?
I think the Eagle or the Falcons are at 15, but I don't think he goes past 15.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of Steelers and Ashton Janty.
Of course.
If he falls to them somehow, he would need to go. I think the Steelers are picking around like 20. But I think there is just a ton of different ways that this can go. It really is.
I mean, you can always trade up too.
I mean, yeah,
or any team could if they feel like that's who they really want.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we could go down and down the list.
Oh,
honestly,
there's so many.
I can't wait for all of this to start. I mean, next week, I think free agency starts. I think on Monday,
13th.
It's Wednesday, I believe the 12th is when it officially starts, and teams and players can start signing deals. But we'll be hearing stuff, on Monday and then Tuesday. The picture will start to paint itself a little bit.
They call it like this week. They call it like the biggest tampering period ever.
That's where everyone's going out to lunch and visiting family. Stuff like that.
Well, that will do it for this episode 30. Again, thank you to our guest AJ. We really appreciate it.
Definitely have him on in the future.
He's been in a lot of behind the scenes stuff too, of us talking to him.
He's the godfather.
Talk about this. Talk about this. This stat, and so we do appreciate him for that. We hope the best for all your goals and ambitions down in Miami.
Yes, sir.
You keep us updated because that's always nice to see our friends succeed, especially
if you ever get a picture with Messi, go ahead and
if you ever get a picture with Messi, or you can just
no, for sure.
that'd be cool. But yes, no, we appreciate it, and I'm sure this won't be the last time.
Oh, definitely.
We'll have you on because I know you bring a lot of value.
Closer to the draft,
closer
after
to
the draft, training
stuff
camp.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, and then again, don't forget this long version of this video
YouTube, Spotify.
will be on YouTube. We'll also tag AJ's stuff. Like we said, he's a college athlete. He's very well invested in training and stuff like that. So if there's anything that you need him for, we'll drop his stuff down in the description and in where you can find him. But yes, thank you. Follow us, short clips, social media, Instagram,
leave a like on the
TikTok,
video.
Leave a like. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you again, AJ. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It was great having you.
Like and comment.
Yeah, what he said. It's been real, guys.